Dabo Swinney's coaching philosophy. Now, Dabo Swinney's approach and how it shaped Clemson's program has been really, really great to see over the years. Al, I mean, we grew up. It's crazy to think this, Al. Our kids are not right now. They don't even know of a time when Clemson was not good. Okay,
Right.
and because of Dabo Swinney, to be honest with you, he
Yeah.
really threw this program around, and he really focuses on team chemistry, team leadership, and having really strong competition, especially during the fall camp. And one thing that he mentioned personally during his press conference this week was the leadership role that Antonio Williams has played in helping build team chemistry and leadership amongst the team. Um, Let me ask you this, Al. Uh, why do you think Dabo Swinney has been so successful? Looking back at all the years with Dabo and getting ready into 2023. And then also the second question is, how important is it to have someone like maybe like a sophomore Antonio Williams to be a guy that Dabo Swinney's talking about as a leader?
Well, Dabo's been successful because he's Dabo. He's an infectious personality. His preparation is second to none. He has a vision, and he goes after it. He does all the steps to make sure that vision comes true. That's exactly what he did with Clemson football. And I mean, it's been a thing of beauty to watch unfold. And thank goodness we get to watch it. Hopefully for several more years, many more years. That's what made Clemson Clemson. Clemson is now special. Clemson was always a special place, but the world didn't know it until Dabo took over and really tried to accentuate all the values and all the cool things Clemson has to offer, and just made it kind of almost a niche type school. If you want those types of things, you got to go to Clemson. If you want those types of things and to win big in football, and that's what he did. And here we are. So that's it's a real cool deal. Love Dabo. We're unbelievably lucky to have him. As far as the leadership role, with Antonio Williams, I think it's a very big deal. I think it's a cool thing sometimes when you have a freshman come in and really make an impact like he made. I mean, he made a big impact. Now he had a lot of opportunity because the receivers were all hurt. They were not producing. He came in and really made people look as a freshman, and that's a big deal. And I know I think he even mentioned it in some of the practice notes today. He had a sour taste in his mouth because he fumbled at the South Carolina game, and man, what a brutal fumble that was. I remember thinking, we're going to get this ball, we're going to go down and kick a field goal. We're going to break their hearts again, just like we always do. We've been killing them for years. They think they're going to sneak it out, and we're not going to let them. And sure enough, we get the fumble, and it was all over from there. But to come back from that, he's going to take that. He's going to use it as motivation. And, you need somebody like an Antonio Williams, a guy who comes in as a freshman, makes some good plays, has a little bit of a swagger to him. That's the kind of guy you're looking for in a leader. Christian Wilkins was a lot the same way, and I think he's gonna take on more of that role. Now, he's not quite the personality Christian Wilkins was, obviously, but just little bit of swagger, tons of talent. Came out and played really well at a very high level his freshman year. And I think it's going to carry over into sophomore year and beyond. It's going to be very good for Clemson in general and the wide receiver room.
What I really like about Dabo Swinney is just kind of where he came from, right? I mean, poor, had family problems, split family, right? Pelham, Alabama. We know the story. We've been Clemson fans for a long time, but, being a guy who was a walk-on at the wide receiver position. So he's been there. He's done that. He did it through a difficult path, really. And he did it at Alabama. At Alabama, one of the blue blood schools of college football, right? So he went and did it at his favorite school and in his home state, and then kind of stayed there and learned under guys like Gene Stallings and really kind of developed, I think, what he uses today to keep his team tough and focused and together too. But he made his own mix, and he's so much, to me, he's very different than any other of the top coaches out there. We look at the top 5 coaches out there, like the Kirby Smart, the Nick Sabans, right? I don't know who else you could throw. Lincoln Riley. I feel like Dabo Swinney is so much different than those guys, but in a good way. He separates himself in the brand of Clemson, and it really kind of just all work together and fit. Now, Al, when you go back and watch, a couple of weeks ago, I rewatched the video of him and the Dream Big statement, when he first got hired, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like that can bring a tear to your eye, just how impactful his words were and how thoughtful he was, even at a very, very young age. Becoming a head coach of a program that wanted to be great. And Al, you remember those times where he would say, um, everybody wanted to be like this team or that team or this university or that university. And Dabo Swinney said, no, no, I want those universities to want to be like us. And
Right.
he's still being so much different, especially in the time of NIL. He's not making it the number one thing, especially in the time of the transfer portal. He's not making that the number one thing. And he's still getting beat down and beat up about that. Also, in a time where society really doesn't care anything about God or anything like that, or following anything like that, or higher power or anything, really following anybody but themselves. Dabo still focuses on that, and it
Mhm.
goes against the grain for sure. Developing players on and off the field, and the Paul Journey, program that they have, it really does separate. A lot of people talk about family, and I think every school has their own version of family, but Dabo Swinney definitely has built his version of family, and that's helped build that chemistry, keep everybody together, and and grow leaders, even young leaders like you mentioned, like Antonio Williams, who's a sophomore. Now, to me, I think it's really good to see Antonio Williams come out and be that leader or start to take that role because, one, he's going to be here for quite some time. I mean, I feel like he's going to be here this year and next year. I don't think he'll leave as a junior. Hopefully not, maybe, but so you're talking about somebody that probably is going to have 3 years at Clemson, unless he just goes just balling out under Garrett Riley. I mean, that could happen.
Mhm.
But
Sure.
I mean, I could see Antonio Williams, sophomore, junior, and senior, continuing to be that leader. So the fact that he's already doing it now is a really good sign. And the fact that he led the team in I think receptions and yards, right? He's a statistical leader, right? So he just can naturally fit in that role. So I think it's good for Clemson. And Al, you know how it is. You've done coaching, I've done coaching. You can only really go so far. When you're younger, you listen to your coach, but as you get older, you get closer in age to the coach that's on your team. You need those peers to be your coach, those peers to challenge you and bring that competition out. And honestly, Al, we'll get into it more, but we've been hearing a lot from camp right now that they're building that competition, they're building that camaraderie, and they're having a lot of excitement around the program as a whole. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.